Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiriye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 17th chapter, how punishment and reward of Kali, text number 33 onwards. Na vartitavyam tadadharma bandho dharmen satyen cha vartitavye brahma varte yatra yajanti yagya yajeshwaram yagyavitan vigyaham. So Maharaj Parikshit is talking to Kali personified. Therefore, O friend of irreligion, you do not deserve to remain in a place where experts perform sacrifices according to truth and religious principles for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Maharaj Parikshit is openly telling Kali that wherever these sacrifices are performed for the satisfaction of Krishna, that place Kali cannot enter, Kali cannot remain at that place. Yageshwara, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is a beneficiary of all kinds of sacrificial ceremonies. Such sacrificial ceremonies are prescribed differently in the scriptures for different ages. In other words, sacrifice meant to accept the supremacy of the Lord and thereby perform acts by which the Lord may be satisfied in all respects. The atheists do not believe in the existence of God, and they do not perform any sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Lord. Any place or country where the supremacy of the Lord is accepted and the sacrifice is performed is called Brahma Vart. So there are different countries in different parts of the world, and each and every country may have different types of sacrifice to please the Supreme Lord. But the central point in pleasing him is ascertained in the Bhagavatam, and it is truthfulness. The basic principle of religion is truthfulness, and the ultimate goal of all religions is to satisfy the Lord. In this age of Kali, the greatest common formula for sacrifice is the Sankirtan Yajna. That is the opinion of the experts who know how to propagate the process of Yajna. Lord Chaitanya preached this method of Yajna, and it is understood from this verse that the sacrificial method of Sankirtan Yajna may be performed anywhere and everywhere in order to drive away the personality of Kali and save human society from falling prey to the influence of the age. So, in this verse, Parikshit Maharaj is saying that wherever the sacrifice means, and Prabhupada explained, sacrifice means to accept the supremacy of the Lord and thereby perform acts by which the Lord may be satisfied in all respects. So any activity that gears towards understanding, our understanding that Krishna is the Supreme and geared towards pleasing him is sacrifice. So in older days, sacrifice was big yagyas or different way. The sacrifice people used to perform they open big temples and do worship of the deity. So Maharaj Parikshit is saying, or Bhagavatam here is saying that wherever the sacrifice is performed, means wherever the sacrifice is performed, Krishna is present over there because the devotee is performing the sacrifice for the pleasure of Krishna. So if even in the thought, if we're doing it, then Krishna is there, and wherever Krishna is there, definitely the influence of Kali Yuga cannot be there. So this is one of the benefit of sacrifice. Of course, the next benefit is we get purified and then we get eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. So in this age of Kali, that's And that's what Prabhupada saying. The opinion of the experts is that Sankirtan Yajna is the best sacrifice. Sankirtan Yajna, by performing Sankirtan, Krishna is pleased. Krishna is pleased, and Kali cannot be at that place, and we get purified at the same time. Or the influence of Kali Yuga cannot be at that place. So Sankirtan Yajna means taking congregational chanting of the holy names. And Prabhupada, by his mercy and by his wisdom, he has given more expansions to Sankirtan Yajna. So he said, book distribution is also Sankirtan Yajna. Prasadam distribution is Sankirtan Yajna. Krishna Katha is Sankirtan Yajna. So everywhere, actually, directly or indirectly, Krishna is glorified. And wherever Krishna is glorified, Krishna is pleased, that place Kali Yuga cannot be there. Or the influence of Kali cannot be there. But then again, we have to see that am I performing these activities for the pleasure of Krishna, for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga, Guru and Krishna, or not? See, that is where the key is. Prabhupada writes, one sacrifice means to accept the supremacy of the Lord and thereby perform acts by which the Lord may be satisfied in all respects. So Lord is satisfied when we perform these acts of the pleasure for the pleasure of the Lord, not for our own pleasure, not for our own sake, prides, or my satisfaction, or to show off, to exaggerate, to boast of our accomplishments. Then that is not sacrifice. That is sense gratification. That cannot be sacrifice. Sacrifice, when I'm sacrificing, I'm putting myself in an inferior position. I'm giving up my desire of enjoyment for the pleasure of Krishna. So I'm sacrificing something. And in this case, it's a topmost sacrifice because ultimate aim is to please Krishna. We all do sacrifice every day. We sacrifice our desire to rest. We sacrifice our desire to enjoy to go to work. Nobody likes to go to work. But for what purpose? The purpose is that I'll make money, I'll take care of my family, and I can enjoy. And maybe when I'm old, I can retire comfortably, so I can live comfortable life. But that sacrifice is ultimately geared towards me. So it's not this sacrifice is pleasing Krishna. But the sacrifice directly related to please Krishna, we have to understand, who am I doing this sacrifice for? Is it the real sacrifice? Is it really for Krishna's pleasure? Or I'm doing it so that people start respecting me, people start giving me money, people start becoming my followers? Or this is the purpose behind the sacrifice? That we all have to see within ourselves. Of course, we cannot hide it from Krishna. He is sitting as Paramatma within our heart. So that he knows everything. Or secondly, we know. Maybe we can fool everybody else around us. But we know what are we doing, who are we doing it for. So that, like I said earlier also, the introspection has to go on every day. Before we go to bed every night, we should take a stock of what I did in the whole day. Did I really do it for myself, or did I really do it for Krishna, or did I do it for myself? So that way, at least, even if we have made mistakes, so next time we'll not make that mistake, because somewhere or the other we will be, yeah, I should not do it this way. At least take a stock of it myself. So that is really sacrifice. Of course, Krishna is so merciful. He will still be happy even if I do doing it for myself. But still, for my purification, it will take a long time. But if I really doing it for Krishna's pleasure, then we can imagine how pleased Krishna and Guru will be, and how fast we can make the progress, how fast we can purify ourselves. Just like there was a devotee of disciple of Prabhupada, His Grace Jayananda Prabhu. Every devotee has always talked so highly of him. He wasn't a sannyasi, he wasn't a big preacher, but his mode of service for Srila Prabhupada was amazing. There's an example that is coming to my mind, that once a new devotee, he came to the temple, and Jayanand Prabhu was supposed to be temple president. And this devotee, he heard so much from other devotees about Jayanand Prabhu that he came and then he asked this person, do you know Jayanand Prabhu? He is such a great devotee. And this person said, no, I don't know Jayanand. Who is this Jayanand? Oh, you don't know Jayanand? He is such a great devotee. He is so dear to Srila Prabhupada and this and that. And actually, he was Jayanand Prabhu, and he was taking out the trash. He was going to take out the trash and put in the garbage can. He was cleaning the temple. And he was the temple president at that time. So that was his mood. Once all the devotees, when Prabhupada was coming to that place where the temple was, I don't know whether it was LA or San Francisco, whichever temple it was. And Jayanand Prabhu was there, he was a temple president, and every devotee went to the airport to pick up Srila Prabhupada. Jayanand Prabhu didn't go because he was doing so many services back in the temple. And when Prabhupada came, Prabhupada gave the lecture, and Jayanand Prabhu wasn't there even in the hall. So Prabhupada looked for him. Prabhupada asked, and not asked, when he was taking a tour of the temple, Prabhupada purposely opened a door, and there was a small room inside, and Jayanand Prabhu was sleeping inside because he was so tired. He had worked tirelessly for 3 days and 3 nights. And Prabhupada was so pleased with him. So that is sacrifice. So many stories. I mean, you can go on the net and read about Jayanand Prabhu. So many stories are there. How much he's worked, how he pleased Srila Prabhupada. In fact, when he left his body when Prabhupada was alive, and Prabhupada did ride. He went back to Golok Vrindavan. Right now, it has become a fashion for every devotee we write, oh, he went back to Godhead. We don't know. I hope they do. Nothing against them. I hope they all do. But we don't know. But for him, Prabhupada himself said he went back to Godhead. So that kind of purification is required. That kind of service attitude, sacrifice attitude is required. That kind of purity is required. And then Krishna is pleased. That we have to see in ourselves. And then when that kind of sacrifice is there, Kali cannot be at that place. Influence of Kali Yuga cannot be there. Parikshit Maharaj further says, Yasmin Hari Bhagwan Nijamana Jyatma Murtir Yajtam Shanam Tanoti Kaman Moghan Sir Jangamana Antar Bahir Vayurivesh Atma. In all sacrificial ceremonies, although sometimes a demigod is worshipped, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipped because he is the super soul of everyone and exists both inside and outside like the air. Thus, it is he only who awards all welfare to the worshipper. So that's, in fact, this is what we were discussing in Bhagavad Gita also, that all the demigods, whatever benedictions they offer, it's only by the mercy of Krishna. It's even sometimes seen that demigods like Indra and Chandra are worshipped and offered sacrificial awards. Yet the rewards of all such sacrifices are awarded to the worshipper by the Supreme Lord. And it's a Lord only who can offer all welfare to the worshipper. The demigods, although worshipped, cannot do anything without the sanction of the Lord. Because the Lord is a super soul of everyone, both moving and non-moving. In Bhagavad Gita 9.23, the Lord himself confirms this is in the following shloka. Ye api anya devata bhaktya yajante shraddhyanyavitaha. Te api mam eva konteya yajanti avidhi purvakam. Whatever a man may sacrifice to other gods, O son of Kunti, is really meant for me alone. But it is offered without true understanding. Avidhi purvakam. The fact is that the Supreme Lord is one without a second. There is no God other than the Lord himself. Thus the Supreme Lord is eternally transcendental to the material creation. But there are many who worship the demigods like the sun, the moon, and the Indra, who are only material representatives of the Supreme Lord. These demigods are indirect, qualitative representations of the Supreme Lord. A learned scholar or devotee, however, knows who is who. Therefore, he directly worships the Supreme Lord and is not diverted by material qualitative representations. Those who are not so learned worship such qualitative material representations, but the worship is unceremonious because it is irregular. So, yes, Prabhupada is writing, and Parikshit Maharaj is saying there's a difference in worship of Supreme Lord and the worship of demigods. Although the demigods have the powers given by Krishna himself to bestow any benediction on their worshippers. But those who worship demigods, and Krishna says, they worship me, but they worship in a wrong way, avidhi purvakam, not understanding their position and my position. But we discussed in detail about the demigod worship, so I will not go over that again. So these demigods are indirect qualitative representations of the Supreme Lord, or material representations, because they are in charge of different departments in the material universe. And it's worshipping them is worshipping Krishna, but in a wrong way, indirect way. Text 35. Sutuvacha Parikshit evam adishta sa kalirjat vepathu tam uddita simahedam dandapanim ivadyutam. Shri Suta Goswami said, the personality of Kali, thus being ordered by Maharaj Parikshit, began to tremble in fear. Seeing the king before him like Yamaraj, ready to kill him, Kali spoke to the king as follows. The king was ready to kill the personality of Kali at once, as soon as he disobeyed his order. Otherwise, the king had no objection to allowing him to prolong his life. The personality of Kali also, after attempting to get rid of the punishment in various ways, decided that he must surrender unto him, and thus he began to tremble in fear of his life. The king or the executive head must be so strong as to stand before the personality of Kali like the personality of death, Yamaraj. The king's order must be obeyed, otherwise the culprit's life is at risk. That is the way to rule the personalities of Kali who create disturbance in the normal life of the state citizens. So Prabhupada is citing how a Kshatriya should be, how an administrative head or executive head of the state should be. That the personality of Kali should tremble in fear in that king's presence. But the king has to be righteous. King has to be a devotee like Parikshit Maharaj to be able to face personality of Kali like that. Otherwise, they're all, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, they're all Kali Chelas. They're all disciples of Kali. How can they face Kali Yuga like this? Kaliruvacha yatra kvavat vatsyami sarvabhaum tavagyaya lakshe tatra tatrapi tvamateshu sharasanam. O your majesty, though I may live anywhere and everywhere under your order, I shall but see you with bow and arrows wherever I look. Personality of Kali could see that Maharaj Parikshit was the emperor of all lands all over the world. And thus, anywhere he might live, he would have to meet with the same mood of the king. The personality of Kali was meant for mischief, and Maharaj Parikshit was meant for subduing all kinds of mischief mongers, especially the personality of Kali. It was better, therefore, for the personality of Kali to have been killed by the king then and there instead of being killed elsewhere. He was, after all, a surrendered soul before the king, and it was for the king to do what was required. The personality of Kali is trembling, and he said, you said, he's telling Maharaj Parikshit that you telling me I can live anywhere and everywhere, but wherever I go, I'll see you, because you have put a condition that wherever the sacrifice is going on, there I cannot be there. And in your kingdom, everywhere the sacrifice will go on. And then you are there as a ruler, or indirectly he is saying that you are there or your representatives are there as rulers. So where can I go? Where can I live? Tanmen dharmam hritam shrestha sthanam nirdeshtum arhasi yatrav niyato vatsya atishtaste anushasanam. Therefore, O chief amongst the protectors of religion, please fix some place for me where I can live permanently under the protection of your government. The personality of Kali addressed Maharaj Parikshit as the chief amongst the protectors of religiosity, because the king refrained from killing a person who surrendered unto him. A surrendered soul should be given all protection, even though he may be an enemy. That is a principle of religion. And we can just imagine what sort of protection is given by the personality of Godhead to the person who surrenders unto him. Not as an enemy, but as a devotee servitor. The Lord protects the surrendered soul from all sins and all resultant reactions of sinful acts. So because Kali surrendered, and he is begging Maharaj Parikshit that please give me some place where I can live permanently under the protection of a government, not outside. And Prabhupada is comparing that, he's saying that since he surrendered, Maharaj Parikshit will give him protection. And just like Prabhupada is saying, just like Krishna says, if somebody surrenders unto him, he will forgive and forget all his sins. He will absolve, Krishna will absolve that person of all the sins if he just surrender. That is the meaning of surrender. That is the result of surrender. Surrender means we just give up all our mental concoctions, mental wanderings, and just follow the instructions of the Lord. That is surrender. In fact, Lord Ram, before the war with Ravan, when he had put this camp in Lanka, and Vibhishan came, and Vibhishan just had offered obeisances to Ram, and Ram made him the king of Lanka. He called him as Ao Lankesh. So Ram practically made him king of Lanka. And later on, Sugriv asked him, "What is it? Why did you do that?" Lord Ram said, "I am bound by my words. If somebody just says, 'Ram, I'm yours,' I am bound to give him all kinds of protection. I'm just bound." And this is the mood of Ram. In fact, later on in Ayodhya, when Sugriv asked him that, "My dear Lord, when Vibhishan came and paid obeisances unto you, and you made him king of Lanka by just calling him Lankesh," means it was obvious that Ravan would be killed and Vibhishan would become the next king of Lanka. But Sugriv said, "But my lord, I have one doubt. What if later on, because we were trying and everybody was giving these messages to Ravan to surrender, just bring Sita to you and surrender unto you. You had already given Lanka to Vibhishan. What would you have given to Ravan then? Because he cannot live without a kingdom, could not live." Ram said, "If Ravan had come and surrendered unto me, although Lanka was already given to Vibhishan, I would have made him king of Ayodhya if he had just surrendered." So this is the power of surrender. And this is the word of Lord Ram himself. Anybody who just surrenders unto me, anybody who just says, "Ram, I'm yours," he says, I'll give him all protection. But our problem is we don't say that, or even if we say that, we don't mean it. The Lord is ready. We just don't have faith. And the bhakti starts with faith only. It doesn't start with lots of philosophical interpretations or anything else. It starts with little faith, and we can grow further from that. So anyway, it's time. I'll stop here. See anybody has any question or comment.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a question from yesterday's lecture.
Yes,
So,
please.
Prabhuji, it's also said that we should not listen from Mayavadis. So, how to interpret that, Prabhuji, in case we want to learn some good things like about mind from the meditators or the yogis, and then we can use that in.
See, that instruction, Mayavadi Bhashya Sunle Hoye Sarvanash, is if we get influenced in a wrong way by their talks. If we are fixed up in our philosophy, in the Vaishnava Siddhanta, Vaishnava principles, then even if we listen to Mayavadi, we will be able to take good points and leave the bad points from that philosophy. So the idea is one, first we should be fixed up in our principle, in our Siddhanta, and then you can listen to anybody. It will not have any effect or any wrong effect. And good points are there in everybody's talks or everybody's realizations. Wonderful points are there. So we can take those wonderful points.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
One question, Prabhuji, that when Arjun was in a dilemma of whether to fight with Kaurava or not, he got some useful instruction in the form of Bhagavad Gita from Lord Krishna. right? So in the same pattern, we as a human being, we in our juncture in life, I mean the stages of life, we take many decisions, right? And we take decisions, but we are not sure whether it's goes right or wrong. So how do, and it could be, and as an example of uh, some very the decisions where could impact in the future also for us. So how do we, can you give us some light on this, that how do we take the decision on, now, uh, or because Krishna is not there to give us those instructions to us, so how do we follow that?
So Krishna's representative is there, Guru is there, and if personally Guru is not there at that time, Prabhupada is there through his books. And this has been a practical experience of many devotees. If we just open any book of Prabhupada, any page, and start reading, chances are we'll get the answer there. So books are very important. Sadhu, Guru, and Shastra. So Sadhu and Guru are two eyes to see the Shastra. The Guru should not. Guru should guide us according to the principles given in the Shastra. So most important are the Shastras.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, bro.
Prabhuji, I have a question related to demigod only. Tell me, I remember in one of the earlier classes about Lord Jagannath, you had told us about Mahaprasad being offered to Vimla Devi or Lord Parvati and then Shivji and all. And the question that I have is, in fact, today is Mahashtami here. So, in fact, by tradition, we'll also go to Pandal and kind of offer our obeisances to Mata. So, as a prasad, in fact, what is it to be offered to Mata then? Because what I'm thinking is the way it explained earlier, in fact, because Mata is also Vaishnavi, so they uh, are more delighted to have Mahaprasad rather than anything which is unoffered. So is it then appropriate to first offer the prasad to, or sorry, offer the bhog to Lord Krishna and then take it to Pandal and offer to Mata Rani, or can we straight away go with
Yes.
bhogas there?
No, no. Yeah, yes, that's the right way of doing it. First you offer to Lord at home, and then you
Mhm.
take prasad through for Mata.
And then offer it to Mata.
Yeah,
And it will
she,
not be offensive, na?
she'll be
Uh,
more happy to receive it this way.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Remind me tomorrow, I'll tell you a story of Chandidas in that regard. So right now time is not there.
Sure, Prabhuji. We may go today as well. 30 minutes के बाद ही अष्टमी पूजा चालू होगी. But tomorrow will certainly I'll remind you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, just remind me.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for enlightening.
Okay, thank you.
Hare
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
Krishna,
I
Prabhuji.
guess we can stop here. Jai Shila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much.